Cool. Hello, beautiful people. How are you guys doing? Everybody good? Everybody fine? Awesome. My name is Eddie Santana White. That is my government name. My artist name is EDO. I'm the artist behind this beautiful painting right here. This is another one of my paintings right here. I have a few pieces right here with some of my hand-drawn sneakers. And also, if you look on the back TV, I have like work that's kind of like slideshow coming through. I am a visual artist, entrepreneur. I own 3 businesses, including my art company. Back home, I have a custom apparel printing shop on the south side of Chicago in Bronzeville. And I also own a t-shirt experience bar as well back home. I've been doing art subconsciously all of my life, but more intentionally, starting at the age of 19 years old. I started painting in 2017, and I came up with my style in 2015. That's a little bit about me. I ain't gonna talk too much, because I know we have some questions by Kosh, Liz. So I'm super excited to be here. I am very grateful to be in this space. This is beautiful energy. Can we give a round of applause for real, Liz? I forget who I was talking to. I think it was Jen and Kosh, and I was just telling them, like, I'm from Chicago, so, and I'm a pure soul. I'm a very, like, I said I'm a very, like, we good? Okay. I'm like a genuine soul, you know. And in Chicago, it's interesting because sometimes that energy is met with negative energy. So when I come out here, I've been out here for the last 3 weekends painting this. The last weekend, I didn't actually sleep at all, so they were concerned about me, but we good though. Everybody is so nice here and genuine here. And I just want to thank you guys for the energy. This is beautiful energy. I feel it. And yeah, I'm just ready to tap in. Also, if you guys have any questions after the initial questions the ladies have, please don't hesitate to tap in. Thumbs up? Awesome. All right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kasha, and I'm the gallery manager here. I just graduated from U of I, and I'm just super excited to be here and have this creative space in our neighborhood. But I'll hand it over to Liz right now.
Thank you. It's weird. I think I know almost everyone in here, and I just wish I could come and just hug all of you and take the time to really talk to you tonight, which I have a feeling I probably won't be able to. So I apologize for that, because I genuinely appreciate the support and the love and just, like Eddie was saying, the energy. It's been really fun to embark on this project, not knowing whether or not it would actually come to fruition. So being in this space and seeing people here and seeing art in here and an artist in here, it's big hearts. It's amazing, and we're really grateful. So we thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of like, I might be wrong, but I've lived in Arlington Heights for long enough that I've never been to an artist talk in Arlington Heights. So I'm looking at my friend and former mentor, Gary. Yeah, don't look over your shoulder. There aren't a lot of artist talks that happen in Arlington Heights. We don't get a lot of this, and I think it's just a cool opportunity to kind of broaden our thinking and, you know, hear that perspective. So we're really thankful to have you here, Eddie. To be honest, like 5 weeks ago, we had this really big empty wall and a desire to have a mural and like a lot of big question marks. Like we didn't know if it was actually going to happen. And so I'm so grateful to you for like coming through and like so clutch and just with this really great positive energy, like just what we needed when we were kind of feeling like our most worried. I think you kind of came and saved the day. So we're happy to have you here. Yeah, so Kasha has some questions. Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Yeah, I can start.
Let's do it.
Let's go. So when we were first looking for an artist, we were super attracted to your colorful style. I just wanted to ask how you personally would just talk about your art and how you would describe it and where the inspiration comes from.
You guys can hear me. Oh, yeah. Is it still, it might be better for you.
The mic is for Conrad.
Yes. Okay. The question again?
So I was just asking, we were super attracted to your colorful art style. I was wondering how you would personally describe it. And I guess I also am curious, how do you want it to evolve over time?
Well, I definitely want to answer the second question first. How I want it to evolve is pretty much just spread out, where I kind of duplicate myself, build a true empire. I think what's cool about my work is it's faceless. It's not tapping into a specific thing. It's tapping into everything so it can conform and fit to wherever I need it to go. And I see it for the world. I don't just see it for a specific area or a specific place. So that's the next goal as far as my 10-year plan goes, just expanding myself and my reach with what I do and my message. And the first question was, again,
It was to describe your style.
how would I describe my style? I would say, I actually get this a lot, organized chaos. It's almost like a puzzle in a sense. What I do is I take words, colors, objects, phrases, and I collage them together to tell a specific story, depending on what that story is. Not just this one, but like the one I brought, for instance. This is Lauryn Hill, and this piece is titled "Everything Is Everything." And there's over 160 objects in it that speaks to that album. So each object in this painting is a reference to the album. Certain words, certain, phrases. My favorite quote from that album, that entire album, is, "How you gonna win when you ain't right within?" So I wrote it underneath the painting because I didn't know how to put it in there. But but it's still there, you dig? So that's how I would describe it. It's colorful, it's bright. I want it to bring you in, and I feel the purpose. My mission with what I do is to help heal, inspire, and bring joy to people through my creativity. And it's colorful also because Chicago can be pretty gray, and I wanted to offset that gray with color. You dig? Cool.
Thank you.
So I'm curious to hear more about the mural itself and the process that you kind of went through to develop it. And I want these people to have an opportunity to hear about it because I found myself falling in love with it the more I heard you talk about it. So I just would like you to kind of stay here forever. We'll get you you're used to sleeping on the floor here, so we'll just get you set up and you can talk to, we just want to hear you talk about this piece. Yeah?
Okay. So with this painting, when we initially had the conversation, which sparked my mind, was the feeling yourself, filling yourself up, and not only filling yourself up, but fulfilling yourself and doing things that fulfills you. One thing that fulfills me is being of service. I feel no matter what we all do here, the baseline of that is to be of service to others and help others, and that fulfills me. Skating, you like skateboards, right? So it's a skateboard in there because that's something that fills Kasha up. So how we spoke about this piece was, I asked them to send me a list of things that they would want in the actual piece that did something to fill them up or fulfill them. And all these objects in this painting speaks to that. And then I had a dream as I was working on this that not only was about filling yourself up, but fulfilling yourself up. And that's when I started to kind of really cultivate and really hone in on certain things I wanted to speak about within this piece. And I also love the collaborative energy that we had toward it, the back and forth, oh, well, maybe, because fun fact behind the scenes for you. So all of these was black, is how I typically designed the first concept. They were all, as far as the lettering, it was black with white lettering. And they had the awesome idea to make it super colorful. So imagine this being black. It wouldn't have looked as awesome and colorful as it does now. So I thank you guys for that piece of information. I put a keyhole down there because it represents escapism. It's an object that I use within all of my work. It's actually tatted on the side of my head. Also the crown, the gold crown, which is next to the pyramid, which is next to the sun rising, which is next to the kite, which is also next to the red diamond, the red gem, the red jewel, which is underneath the cloud at the top. So like everything in this piece, it speaks about that dream I had as far as like what fulfills me and what will actually fulfill others. And I hope that it's doing that, and it seems like it does. Because while I was working, I told you guys while I was working on it, people would be walking past like beating on the window like, good job, you're doing good. That looks awesome, you know? And the energy around it so far already has been like really, really cool. I'm an artist, so I draw a lot. There's a pencil right in between the E and the L, next to like a sheet of paper, next to the tree, which is next to the skateboard, which is also next to the plane for traveling, because I know that that was something that fulfills you guys, traveling and stuff like that. So like, yeah, the straw right here, you know, got us some orange juice down there, a cup of orange juice. So yeah, like all this, okay, so this style right now, this is all figurative. This is more literal. This is all figurative, and I love the fact that it's figurative because I don't never want to pigeonhole what something might be for someone else. Like, I know what I wanted to say, but what you say is actually true for you, because I want my art to meet you where you are, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Once I do something, it no longer belongs to me. I'm the messenger, I'm the vessel, these things flow through me, but this doesn't belong to me, and it wasn't for me. It was intended for you guys, to meet you wherever you are, so.
So you were talking about how people were walking by and like knocking on the window. Yeah, the fishbowl around here, yeah. But what exactly do you want people to feel when they look at your mural over here?
Joy, peace, happiness. I want people to see it, and I want them to stop in their tracks and be like, wow, what's going on here? You know, I wanted to pull you in. That's why the specific colors I used was those colors, you know. And, yeah, because it's so bright. Yeah, down the street yellow because you can see it from like all the way down there. And it took the longest, and I use yellow last because it's a thinner paint, so it takes longer as far as like my layering. So that took a long time to do. It was the last color, literally I did Sunday, and it took all day just for the yellows alone. But yeah, that's what I want people to feel. I want you to feel something, but I also just wanted to bring you joy. And not just grown-ups. Everything I do also is to parallel with the youth and to reach the kids. Like my work is sophisticated enough, so it's up there, but it's also chill, vibey, graphic enough to where the youth can comprehend and understand it as well, because they're who I'm talking to just as much as I'm talking to the grown adults. So that's what I want you to get from this. That's what I want you to feel. I want you to feel happy. I want you to feel joy. I want you to smile. I want you to walk up to it and be like, what is going on here? I wanted to draw you in. And I manifested that, and I hope it continues to do that. Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear you talk a little more about the keyhole. Kasha and I are kind of blocking it. But there's this lovely turquoise keyhole down here. And there's also a keyhole on your left temple. Sorry, that's your water bottle. So I was curious to hear you talk about that particular symbol and what that means to you.
So the keyhole represents a few things to me. It's tatted on the side of my temple because I know I wanted a face tattoo because I like to rebel against the system. No, I'm just, but no, partially. But no, so I got it on my temple because it represents unlocking your mind and all its fullest potential. So I wanted to make sure that when I reach 40, 50 years old, I can still look in my face in the mirror, and this still represents what it still represents. It still holds power for me. It still means something meaningful. Because I believe that we control our mind. It doesn't control us. I tell my mind what I want it to do, and then it moves within that way. But it doesn't move me. you know? That keyhole, and the keyhole that's in a lot of my work, because I put that symbol in a lot of my work, it just represents escapism, you know? I feel as though art is a place to escape to. Anything we do that's creative, I feel like it's a place to escape to, place that we're comfortable being. And even in my stories from time to time, like my IG stories, those keyholes with like different sceneries in them. Yeah, so it just represents escapism and feeling like you can when you want to. You know, sometimes for most of us, reality can become interesting. You know, I'll use that word. It can become interesting, and I feel sometimes we all need a place to escape to. You know, mine has always been art. So, yeah.
Thank you. So we were having a conversation over the weekend, and you started to explain your favorite parts of the mural. Do you care to explain more about that to everyone?
Yeah, so my favorite part, it kind of varies, but this is my favorite part of the entire piece because it's about you. And I made it like a button, kind of like a keyboard button. And it's kind of centered around everything else because everything around you and also within you, you know, is about you. So this is my favorite part of the entire mural. That's my first favorite part. And then the keyhole, definitely. The crown, for sure. I love the crown. What else? I mean, I love the whole thing. The purple heart up there, you know. Yeah, I love the whole thing, honestly. But you is my favorite part. And it's so interesting because when I was working on this, y'all, like, I didn't even recognize that it was pretty, like, centered. You know, like even when I designed how I designed it, like I didn't see that until after I started painting. I was like, oh my God, you are the center of everything. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty nice.
I would love to, because not everyone here saw this in progress. A lot of people tonight are seeing it for the first time. I felt really honored, and actually is the slideshow running now? So you can see a time lapse that Kasha put together, and you can probably get a sense of kind of your process. But I was wondering if you could just talk about that a little more, because I felt really honored to see this move from a white wall to what it is now. A white wall that our friend Steve built for us. He's back there over by the window. Steve built that wall and made it all white, and it was really neat to see it like go. You did kind of one color at a time. So I was wondering if you could just talk about that a little more.
Yeah, so my process is typically a color a day. By a color is probably like that shade. So if I was to do blue, I would do all shades of blue: light blue, powder blue, dark blue, royal blue, midnight, navy. That was the first color I did. Because it's honestly, as far as my process, it's the easier. It's like a quicker color. It's a thicker color as far as the paint that I use. Because I only really try to use flat paint because I want it to look graphically done. So yeah, I do a color a day, and that's pretty much like my process. I don't really, outside of like the initial creating it and sketching it out, the idea, I typically do a color a day. And then after that color a day, like after I'm finished, it's just, yeah, I'm done. Like I said, yellow has always been the most challenging color for me, so I did it last. But my favorite color to paint with is the purple. I love purple. I love what it represents. It's actually my brand color, so that was a fun day. I was just telling Conrad this on the way over here, like, so. My process is interesting because I get initially excited with the initial idea. Like when I'm creating it, I'm like, oh man, this is super dope. This is super cool. And then I get to paint it. And that's the most tedious part because you're starting from a blank canvas, you know, and you see the vision, but everybody might not see the vision. Luckily, you guys saw the vision too, so that helped. But yeah, so that process of the painting process is a bit tedious because every day it's almost like I'm a robot. I'm just like painting these colors. And then I get excited again toward the end because I'm like, I see it, that's why I didn't sleep the whole weekend. Like I was here, I'm like, no, it's gonna be done at this time, and I'm going to finish this, and I'm not going to sleep, and I don't care what's going on in the world. I got to get this done. So yeah, but that's my process. I enjoy the beginning and the end, and the middle is interesting. You know, it's interesting. You know.
Does anyone want to hold this microphone and ask a question? It's really fun. Oh, my husband.
I just want to say congratulations to you, Eddie, and to you, Liz. It has been fun to watch it because I've gotten to see you in process as well, so I've really enjoyed that. I guess my question is, you were talking about how at a certain point you started to intentionally make art. Do you remember, like, what was the first artist that you remember that you were like, I like that? Like the first artist that really spoke to you and inspired to you?
I love that question. Thank you for asking me that question. So when I got into the art industry, I knew nothing. You know, I'm self-taught, so I didn't know anything about any artist or anything. I found out after after I came up with my style. I was like, oh, well, you know, this reminds me of this artist, or this reminds me of this artist, and I had to actually Google the artist because I didn't know what people were talking about. Oh, this looks like Cause, or this looks like a little bit of Keith Haring, or this looks like a little bit of Peter Saul or Boss, you know, and I fell in love with art all over again. Because obviously, like, I'm a person where I'm kind of to myself with everything as far as even how I create. So I don't pay attention to too much art, interestingly enough. Like, I don't. Like, so when I did all the research, I was like, oh my God, this is super crazy. This is so dope. So I can give you my favorite artist. Is that?
Well, I was just saying the first time you remember seeing it. But yeah, I'm not saying I don't want to know your favorite artist. My question was the first one. Maybe it's not the same. Maybe it's the same today. I don't know.
My favorite artist right now is this artist called Crayola. Craola? Yeah, Crayola. He's like a super surrealist. Like, so he'll paint something like that looks real, but it's like he'll paint like Mickey Mouse, or he'll paint like the Ninja Turtles, but he does it in this realistic way, but it's like super surreal as well. It's super crazy. But I love Cause as well, Kaws, Keith Haring. I mean, come on, you know. Peter Saul is super dope. I like Jeff Koons. I like his sculptures. You ever seen like that puppy dog balloon? Yeah. Just good. So yeah, those are like some artists that's after I've done more research into art history and things like that, that's really been like, wow, this is like some amazing stuff. So, yep. Thanks for asking that question. And also thank you guys for the questions you asked as well. I appreciate it. Anybody else?
Yes.
Yes.
He doesn't want the.
I don't know the scale that you normally work at, but do you find different challenges working on a 18 by 24 compared to a wall? When you scaled up, were there different visual challenges and technical challenges?
Thanks for asking that. And it's actually easier the bigger it is for me, because I'm able to cover more ground as far as the visuals and things I'm trying to say. My work is typically big anyways because of everything that I put in it, you know. So it's more challenging doing more smaller, compact pieces because I want to pack everything in and say all what I'm trying to say. Because I say a lot. Like, this is a lot I'm saying. You know what I mean? This is like a whole like dream sequence a dream that I had, and I just wrote down as much as I can remember. Same with this, same with those type of things. But I love bigger pieces, doing bigger work. What's been challenging though is the texture of what I'm painting on. So I just did like a school like a couple weeks ago, and it was brick. And because I'm a painter, having to try to like I like clean lines, so having to try to clean those lines up in between the slits. So yeah, but I'm happy. I did it. It came out nice. And, oh, thank you, thank you. So yeah, it's more the texture of the wall is more challenging than I guess the sizes. But I would prefer bigger wall space, bigger canvas sizes than small. Just as far as like everything I want to say. Yep. You don't need this, right?
No, I'll just talk really loud. I'll voice it over later when I'm editing it. So, I mean,
James
you already
also,
said that you're
right?
self-taught, and I feel like even just on a ride over, like, I got to learn a lot about, like, how you got into art, but I don't want to be redundant if we, like, talk about it too much, even though I've been filming it. But, like, I just want, like, everyone to know, like, sort of, like, how you came into art and, like, how you ended up there. Like, the story. Yeah, if you're comfortable with that, I don't know. And then also, like, what it means to you now, and then we were also, like, I really feel like, you know, what you want to do with the youth is like really important to you too, and so I'm curious also like why that's so important to you, and like in any ways you hope to then bring that forward. So that's like a lot, but I'm gonna let you roll with it.
Let's see where we go now. Thanks for asking that, Conrad. So, how I got into art, the history of me and how I got into it. So, as a young lad, as a young lad, I was a very quiet kid. I was to myself most of the time, and that was before foster care. So I was in foster care for 2 years. When I was between 8 years old and 10 years old, I spent those 2 years in 8 different foster homes. Seven of those 8 different homes, I was physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually beat, taken advantage of, treated lesser than. My mom gave us away to get clean. She was a madam. My father was a pimp. They had sexual relations once. That's me. My father is still homeless to this day, and he's still battling his addiction. My mom has been clean 20 plus years. And actually, can we clap for that? Yeah. She worked very hard to get there, to get back to where she was. And the only reason I know as much as I know, because we have conversations. I ask her real questions, and she doesn't sugarcoat anything for me, which I appreciate. So you can imagine coming out of where I came from, that experience at that age, I had to bury a part of myself to survive. I had to grow up pretty fast. So even after that process, I was even more into myself. I was afraid of everything. I was painfully shy, painfully timid, and I was mad at everything too. Interestingly enough, I just was also sad and scared of everything. It was a weird place to be in. Once again, I always did art subconsciously. It's just where I went to. It wasn't anything I thought about intentionally doing. It's just kind of where I just drifted to. It's just where every time I got bored or every time I was like, I don't know how to do all this out here, I would just, create. So when she got us back, but my idea of love and family was kind of warped. I didn't understand it. Couldn't comprehend it. I didn't know how to emotionally articulate what was going on with me. And I held a grudge with her and my father for a very long time. And going into grammar school and even high school, it was not the best because I was allowing the outside world to dictate how I felt about myself. And especially in high school, it's a real thing. The popular kids and the geeks and whatever they say it is, you realize none of that stuff matters after you realize none of that. Yeah, while you in it, it's the most important thing in the world. It's life or death, So I allowed the outside world to dictate how I felt about myself. So I was super far away, removed from art. I didn't do no art. I didn't do no art in high school or grammar school. I played basketball because that was a cool thing to do. That was like how I gravitated towards sports. And when I was bored in like history or like what else, science or whatever, I would draw on my pants. I would draw on the notebook. I would draw on my shoes, literally, like foreshadowing what I'm doing now, which is hilarious. But so I didn't even apply to college. I didn't apply to college at all. The fear of being rejected and not being accepted was so high for me, I didn't even apply. So 19 years old, a year after graduation, and I'm realizing, oh my God, none of that mattered because that wasn't the real world. That was a spacing, that was a part of my life experience, but it wasn't an actual, like, it wasn't reality as I thought it was. And it wasn't as deep as I thought it was. Actually, nothing is as deep as we make it, but you know, that's another conversation. So, 19 years old, I was wallowing around my house, my mom's house, and sad and mad and like all these different energies. And she was just like, hey, listen, I know you're upset. I know you're sad. I know you're going through what you're going through. All your friends is away at college. They're living it up. You're back here trying to figure your life out. But you can't stay here and do nothing. I'm not going to allow that. Like, you can either get a job or something, or Kennedy King is like right up the street, but you can't stay here and do nothing. And you got a week to figure it out.
That much time?
Yeah, a week.
A whole week.
A whole week. It didn't take that long for me though, because I was like, I don't like that energy. I don't like how you talking to me like that. It was weird, but it was what I needed at that time. So, I did get a job at a nonprofit. I was working my way through the ranks to where I became a mentor. And at one point, I had 30 kids under my on my caseload. I was working in school at Julian High School. It's an inner city high school in Chicago. But then I also went to Kennedy King. I went to Kennedy King for like literally like a week or two. I took a visual communication, fancy way of saying graphic design, and I remember the first day we were being taught shapes in words, how to like make shapes, how to do typography, and he allowed us to use our headphones once we got good at it. And I was using the headphones and I was creating, and I'm just in this zone. I'm just creating like this. It's like crazy feeling, like this euphoric feeling. I've just never felt this before. And the class, it was like 10 minutes after class had ended and nobody was there. And he had to tap me, like, Mr. White, you gotta leave. Like, it's another class coming. I'm like, what are you talking about? I look around, nobody's there. And I was like, oh, that was the day I made the decision that art was gonna be what I did. And I literally left Kennedy King and started a clothing line. Like, I didn't even stay. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm done with this. I learned these two things, and then I just taught myself everything else. Because I knew I didn't want nobody telling me what to do. You know, I kind of wanted to like make my own way in this world, within like what I wanted to do. And then I ended up quitting the job that I worked at too, because I had to do this 100% or not do it at all. That's my energy. You know, I can't be half foot in, half foot out. That's not gonna work, you know? And I'm a creature of habit. I'm an obsessive person. I'm a perfectionist. And I also say what I mean, you know? So I wanted to do it, and I made the decision to do it, and I felt everything imaginable with the decision that I made, because I was homeless for like 2 months, sleeping in my car, broke, starving, you know, the story of the artist. But I didn't stop, and I didn't quit, and I believed in it. You know, if nobody else believed in it, I believed in it. And I just think that's an important lesson that I learned, that everything that's happened to me, it happened for me. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't happen to me. It was something in that I needed to learn within that space, and learning how to enjoy the process of what's coming, you know, and not allowing it to super like get you to a place to where you don't feel like you're not worth it, or it's not worth it. Like, somebody in this world is gonna like what you do. Somebody, it might be one person, but that's somebody that's outside of you. And there's a lot of people in this world. So everybody don't gotta like this, but somebody is. And it also ties into the youth question, which is the second part. I've made it to the second part. Bet. So as far as the youth goes, y'all just kind of gave y'all a little brief history of like how I grew up. And one point in my life, I figured like, man, I want to be the guy that I needed when I was younger. I want to be that guy that a kid can be like, oh man, this is crazy. You doing this? I want to do it. Because I'm from Chicago. And the youth out there, most of these youth can't walk outside their four block radius. They've never even seen downtown. You know what I mean? Like, they can't do things that they want to do. I'm talking about thugs, you know, that want to sing, that want to dance, that want to do these things, but they don't feel that it's possible because they haven't seen that being possible. They've only seen a certain depiction of who we are, who I am, like who we are, you know what I mean? And we're more than that. We're bigger than that. You can do anything you want to do. And that's, I have a soft spot for that. Like me and Liz was talking about that the first night I was here painting, and we like had like a real heart-to-heart about it because it's like, it's a real thing, like kids being mistreated and taken advantage of. It's not okay with me. You know, I don't think it's okay with anybody. And no child deserves that, you know? So we're trying to figure out how to do workshops here to involve youth. And I've been actively, way more intentionally putting that out there that I want to do more workshops with youth and kids and showing them that they can create anything they want to create as long as they put their mind to it and not allowing the outside world to dictate how you feel about yourself. Like, your need for acceptance in this world can make you invisible. Jim Carrey said that. And that's a real thing. Worrying about what everybody outside of you thinks about you will keep you in this place of like depression because you're not figuring out your own thing, you know? So, yeah. I'm sorry about that. That just got a little deep.
That was amazing.
But it's serious though, you know, like it's a serious thing. And everything I do is for the people. Everything I do is for the world. But it's most importantly, it's for the youth. And they need someone to show them that they can do these things, that it's okay to be you, it's okay to stand out. It is okay to feel how you feel and speak how you feel and say what you say. It is okay. They need to know it's okay. They don't feel that way. They feel like nobody listens to them, nobody hears them. But I hear them every day. And this, hopefully, will help them. All of what I do, I hope, all of what we do, I hope, you know, they can see that and be inspired by it and be moved by it and be motivated by it. I hope I don't care if I can get one of them is like, oh, I want to do this now, or what I got to do, how I got to do. Like even with the work spot, the business I own, we only hire teenagers. We only hire teenagers from the inner city. We only hire them. Who else is going to give them like a shot and a chance, you know? So if not us, who? So, all right, that was my TED Talk, you guys. Bye.
How did the empty corner find you?
So I was just looking around like different Instagrams, different galleries, and I'm pretty sure I saw like one of your pieces up in a work that you were tagged in, and I instantly was like, wow, I really like that. And I started looking through your work a bit more, and we kind of talked about this earlier, but you have like a Basquiat piece, and I just really, right there.
Look at that timing.
But yeah, so I love that artist, and I just immediately felt drawn to you, and I just love the color and how every single, like you're so specific about every single thing that you do that even in this mural, you were talking about it, and I was like, I never even noticed that. So I just thought it was really cool to see all the different hidden meanings in all the paintings. But yeah, and then I reached out, and we had like a FaceTime, and we instantly were like, oh, we love him. Like, we want him here. But that's the story. Are there any other questions in the crowd? My brother.
Yeah. Hi. So kind of going off the details in your work, I'm curious to get a glimpse of your creative process, because when you're filling a space, it's not necessarily just shapes and colors, but things and ideas. So I'm wondering, do you kind of go into it with a vision of where you want to end up, or does it change and evolve as you're creating?
That's a dope question. What's your name? Nice to meet you, Patrick. I'm Eddie. Dope question. So it's actually both. I have an initial idea of where I want to take it, but what's so cool, which I've been learning, is not been learning, but what's been happening is the piece gives me objects too. So I might draw something, like the first thing I drew was that heart up there, that purple heart, right up there. But it's also like, that was the first thing I drew, and as I started to draw everything else, like this straw, I just saw that. It wasn't like I drew that in there purposely, but as I was working on everything, it was like, oh my God, that's a straw. Oh, fill you up. Oh, it was like, you know what I mean? So it was like a gradual like back and forth where the work was actually giving me things as well, and it happens a lot. I'm aware enough a lot too, so it's like I'll draw certain things, but then some things kind of lend themselves to me. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yep.
What? No, I'm
No,
out.
she does not.
I do not have that. None of y'all want me to have that either. But what is your favorite piece that you have created?
I know. My favorite piece I've ever done is one of my auntie. Her name was Eddie Mae Ray. Yeah, I was named after her. Yeah, our birthday is on September 17th. So yeah, she transitioned in 2019. So I did a painting of her. It was like it's a 4 to 5 foot painting. It's like the only painting I actually have in my own personal collection. My art manager was like, you know, you don't own anything, nothing of your work. Like you'll make something and it's just so like that. And she was like, you might want to start doing that now. And I thought my auntie's painting would be the best piece to start that with. But in that piece, titled EMR, Eddie Mae Ray, but it also stands for Energy Must Rise, because I don't feel energy dies, I feel it just transfers. So in that piece is her life story, from what I learned about her, all the objects, all the words from what I learned about her, and then what my mom told me about her when they were children. Yeah, it's a dope piece. I wish I sent it to you. I'm sorry, I'm my bad about that, but yeah. I'll show. Yeah, for sure. And I'll show you I'll just show it to you I'll just show it to you. Yeah, so that's my favorite painting I've done thus far. But I love them all though. They all represent a certain part of my life and a chunk of my life of where I was in those moments. So, but EMR is like, that's the most, because she travels now. You know, she didn't travel a lot when she was like here in the physical form, but the painting has been in different, galleries. It's about to be out in Indiana. It's about to be in Florida. So it's like she's seeing the world, still. So, yeah, for sure. Come on now. Anybody else? Oh, so this I just projected it on a projector. Yep, and then sketched it, and then painted it. Yeah, but it started with the design, which like I said, I'm so grateful to you guys with, because we kind of like the back and forth with it. We got it to where we all was like, yes. And then after that, yep, I just projected it onto the wall, sketched it out, and then painted it. Yes.
I am kind of unfamiliar with your work, but do you have any grayscale stuff, or is it all brilliant colors?
I love that you said that. I do monochromatic type of pieces, but I'm working on what size is it? It's like a 24 by 36. That's literally all shades of gray right now, actually. And it's been a challenge because it's not many shades of the gray. So, but it's really intricate.
Is it a different process if you don't use the brilliant colors? Do you think emotionally?
Yeah, it's a bit boring. Because colors brighten my day. Like when I get to like open up a new can of like a certain like, where's that pink at? That pink right there is a beautiful pink. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, this pink is so beautiful. It's gonna look so good on this wall. Even that blue right there, the keyhole blue is like, oh, it's such a beautiful blue. And then to open up a can and be like, oh yeah, this is like a dope gray. It's like, it's not really the same thing. But it's dope though. It's coming out really good. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. Yeah. Oh, these shoes I have on right now? Yeah, so I wore these today because these are my empty corner edition New Balances. So I've started painting these with this mural. They were just completely gray at first, and then with each color I was using, I just was putting it on my shoe. It wasn't like intention. It wasn't like I didn't have nowhere. Actually, no. A couple of times I had nowhere else to put the paint, so I was just like, I just smacked it on my shoe real quick. And I like how they came out, so I decided to wear them tonight because in honor of the unveiling and the opening of this gallery. So these are the empty corners. You dig? Anybody else? Any other questions for the artists? Yes. My signature? Oh yeah. So with all my works, I put my thumbprint. I make sure I put my thumbprint on there. I just feel like it's what's she saying? Yeah, she's happy. She's like, yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to make another type of I wanted to do something also with just I guess with my identity, let you have a little more piece of me because you're already getting my mind. This is literally how my mind works. I will walk outside and be like, oh wow, the sky is blue. What else is blue? The water. What's in the water? Shark. What does shark like to? That's how my mind works. So this is kind of how that looks, and I just wanted to add on something else with the thumbprint. So if it ain't got no thumbprint on there, it ain't mine. Don't trust them. Do not trust them. It is not an original Edo piece. Yeah. Thank you guys. You're so intensive. You're listening. You're asking questions. This is super dope. I appreciate y'all for real, for real. Anybody else?
Did you talk about your shoes?
Oh, no. So I bought a couple pair of hand-drawn shoes. Every time I do a pair, because those are my personal pair. I only wear them both one time. But every time I do a legit pair, it's for a milestone. So those red and blue, those are actually the same. That's the one pair of shoes. I do red and blue a lot, where something is blue and something is red. Represents the good in us, represents the bad in us, and we having to balance it between both. But those shoes I did because I have a partnership with Lululemon, and I did a mural in one of their stores. And for the opening and the launch of that, I wore those. Those low-top Air Force Ones, I've also got a partnership with the White Sox, and we've been working together for a while. And I did an 8 by 8 foot mural that we unveiled on field. And they also honored me with a jersey, and I got to throw out the first pitch, the honorary first pitch. So those shoes, the two at the bottom, I designed for that day. They were only worn once, and I wore them on the field. And I just thought those was kind of cool to bring. But they also tell a story too. So each of those pair of shoes was a story about that day. I'm big on manifestation. I'm big on writing things down and watching what I say, because I know words are powerful. So I wanted to make sure that what I spoke of on these pieces was just all affirmations, all manifestation, all good vibes, all positive energy. Even the bottom of that lower one, it says illuminate. I don't know if you guys might be able to read it from back there, but yeah, that part right there, I spelled out illuminate, because that's what I felt in that moment, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I kind of wanted to give. So I'm getting a little emotional about that actually, because, I really understand that none of this has to happen for me. I am not lost on that. I am not lost on all this that happens for me, that's been happening for me. Of course, I put the energy out. Of course, I create, I work, I do my thing, but I understand that nobody has to like it. Nobody has to pay attention to it. Nobody has to give it energy. So when people do choose to do that, I make sure I give them everything I have, because they're putting energy into me, and I want to make sure that they made the right decision. So, those kind of just got me there real quick. So those are the story behind those two pair of Air Force Ones. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
I I just wanted to say thank you one more time for bringing your beautiful energy into our space, for brightening up this empty wall into something truly magnificent. And it's been such a pleasure talking to you and meeting you. So thank you so much.
You're the best, Eddie. I just thought you guys might want to know this story about this phrase, fill yourself up. So this space presented itself as an opportunity before I had any idea what could happen in here. And it was literally like this empty corner. And I had no idea. I really didn't have any idea. And my dear friend Conrad helped me kind of pull some ideas out. But along the way, it was very like, just a lot of question marks. So I really resonate with that floating question mark up there. Even tonight, even seeing all you here, like it's really fantastic to see that this empty space is being filled by the people that are in here, by the artwork that you brought here. And when we kind of came up with the idea to call this place the Empty Corner, right away I thought, this can be a place where people come. You can come here and you can fill yourself up. Because I think for me, I was feeling like kind of in a hard mental health space. And I wanted something more. I wanted to fill myself up. And that phrase was like really on my heart. But along the way, there were so many things that had to happen, including finding a gallery manager. And when Kasha applied for this job, she sent me a cover letter. And in that cover letter, she said, I just really like that this is a place where you can fill yourself up. She just like said that in her cover letter. I was like, she's hired, like, come on. So I just think like that phrase resonated with you then, meant a lot to us. Like it was something I think I had maybe only said to Conrad, and I hadn't like been using that phrase. I don't think you knew that, but you just kind of wrote it in this email, and it's just been really neat. And I really hope that that's something that other people will cling on to as well. So thank you for that. Thank you for all of it. I think we should party. Let's move some chairs outside. We've got drinks, we've got raffles, we've got art